us an update on what your team's up to?
Well, and it was a good opening to Big East play, but it's a quick turnaround. I was telling some people yesterday, it's the first time in Angie and I's 20 years to have a weekend off. Now, we've had a weekend off because of swine flu and a hurricane, but it's the first time it's ever been scheduled off. So, but it also means it's the first time, I think, ever that we've had a conference game midweek, both in the Valley and in the Big East. So quick turnaround. We had a light practice yesterday, productive though. And then Xavier's really playing well. They are trending up, which is awesome for the league. But they look really impressive on film. And I haven't spent a lot of time on Butler. We actually just finished the Xavier Scout as a staff. And I'm going to dive into Butler this afternoon and start looking at them.
Questions?
You mentioned after both matches that you thought you guys were cleaner this weekend. What did that look like on film? What did you do better in your opinion?
Well, a big priority for us was not to allow runs to happen, and we did a much better job of, if we made an error, siding out. Some of it was the opponents helped us. Let's call a spade, especially on Friday. Although Georgetown didn't necessarily give us points, they just had trouble terminating. I thought our defense did a nice job against them. Like I said, I thought our serving, was good overall. We really are locked into all 6 servers being able to go on runs. So we've started to make that competitive, that each Monday we come back and say what 3 servers scored the most points. It's not getting aces. It's who can stay back and serve as long as they can. So just trying to put some fun competitiveness, some competitive juices behind things.
You said you got 4 matches in 8 days, and you said you kind of had to adjust practice because of that and everything. I guess what specifically do you adjust, and are you concerned at all playing a midweek game like this?
I trust this team. They'll be ready and they'll take care of things. I think the adjustment is, we didn't get to spend as much time on ourselves on Monday because we needed to immediately dive into Xavier. And so usually, for me at least, Monday is all about us from a film standpoint. So those sort of things. Usually we have Monday off after a home weekend. We did go, and we're going to give them the weekend off. So some adjustments there. I don't think anything, no excuses if we don't play well on Wednesday. I think we should be ready to go.
You're talking about just finishing scouting Xavier. What are things that you noticed from them?
Yeah. Well, they're good all over. A couple things that stand out. They have a really active setter. She likes to get involved. She's averaging, I think, 1.7 kills per set. So that's a little atypical. They run fast tempo to the pins. Hogan, and now I'm going blank on her first name, Delaney Hogan has been a really key cog for them the past few years, and she's good in the middle. I just think they're cleaner than they've been in the past. I think their defense is a little bit stronger. Their setter's really good. She can distribute from all over. If they're in system, they're pretty wicked. So we've got to make sure that we try to put some pressure on them.
You used wicked before.
What?
You haven't used wicked before.
There you go. 10-point win.
How do you feel about your serving so far this season? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like a strength at this point.
Yeah, we hope so. We were actually just talking in the office about one player that we think in practice is a little bit more aggressive than in matches. So those are the things that we're going to try to continue to push. I think one thing that has been maybe a small thing that has been different is Brian sits on the bench, and if a player doesn't serve a good ball, he'll be like, you can serve harder than that. So they're immediately getting feedback, even if the point's going. And I actually think that's really good. Or he does it in a positive way. That's a great serve. That's a great serve. So they're getting immediate feedback of whether it's aggressive enough. Because sometimes for me at 22, I'm feeling stressed, like get it in the court when I know that's not what I should be thinking. So I think it's good that they're getting kind of pushed consistently and told yay or nay on whether the tempo is what we need.
When it comes to Nora, what are things that in this second year that you hope to see her maybe improve upon, and has she kind of hit those things yet, you think?
Well, one big thing for us in the spring was her passing, and I really feel like her passing has taken a big step from last year. and her numbers show that. So that's been a big focus. Offensively, we want her to continue to try to use the block a little bit more, and she's continuing to work on that in practice. Some of that is we're adjusting her approach some to give her some opportunities to do that. So she is definitely, one of those players that wants to expand what she can do. She obviously can hit hard, hit around the block, so now we're trying to create different shots. We're trying to utilize her in the back row, attack more. Just kind of continue to push her to be uncomfortable. And I think she's showed that, she has stepped up in a lot of big matches in fifth games, that she can handle that pressure and step up when she needs to.
What's it like coaching a kid who, I don't know, doesn't have like a preconceived idea of what they're good or bad at? They just hear what the coaches want her to do, and they just kind of go for it.
I think I've said this a lot. Nora's, a joy to coach. I think the thing with Nora that maybe is a little different, she loves volleyball. Like, I think I've said this, but when we did Ted Lasso and the character that always said, football is life, that was Nora, like volleyball is life. So, but Angie's our lead trainer for pins, and Angie will talk about how awesome she is to coach because she wants feedback, she can take feedback. She's just got a great growth mindset.
We don't usually ask you about recruiting, but I feel like it's okay this time. What was it like in the household or wherever that choice was reiterated to the family? What was that moment like when Reese made her decision to go to Northern Iowa?
Well, I don't know if it was a moment, because I think, it was interesting being on this side and the stress that goes with trying to make the right decision. And, you weigh options of different schools, of things you liked better one place and you liked better another place. But I think over the last week, she'd sleep on it, and she kept coming back to, like, this was where she felt like she'd fit in the best. And I think it's a great fit. Ironically, my dad was a professor at Northern Iowa before he came to the University of Nebraska. My husband's family is from Mount Vernon, which is about an hour from Cedar Falls. So there's some geography that makes it a great fit, in addition to, as you know, Bobby's been a mentor, especially when I was young, and now a good friend. Of all things, for me, it was, you want her with good people, and that, that they're going to care about her beyond being a volleyball player, and I think that she'll find that at Northern Iowa.
From a mom standpoint, how just exciting is it to see your daughter get to live out a dream of playing college volleyball?
Yeah, I think it's, I think Reese has worked really hard to earn this opportunity. And it's interesting because Eric and I always felt like, even with our other daughters, we think they'll go to college, but they're not necessarily going to be college athletes. And I can still remember about 2 years ago, she was like, I thought everyone went to college to play sports. So that's the bubble that she has grown up in. So I think that's always been a goal of hers, to try to play. And we didn't know what level she'd fall out at. And, I was a D2 player. I think we went in, as we started talking about this over the last couple of years, of saying, hey, go somewhere that you think, getting to play has been a really big priority for her, and go someplace that they think that you're going to get to play, whatever level that is, and find your people. These are going to be your best friends for life. And so anyway, we were excited. I think it's a really good fit for her.
Has she used the bragging rights card yet, or is she waiting for the cell phone bill to not to be paid anymore?
The what?
In terms of being D1 versus mom being D, has she used bragging rights at all yet, or?
She's not that stupid. I've just told her that she's going to get killed when we play you and I. So that's more of what's going on in our household. We're talking smack already.
Any other questions?
Oh yeah, sorry. Jayla's been doing a lot of, getting a lot of passing and serving reps in. Is it a situation where you would put her in as a serving specialist DS, or do you wait till everything's kind of clicking again?
We haven't really had that discussion, to be honest, Matt. I think she still needs to progress a little bit more before we get to that point. But I think she's trending in the right direction, and a lot of it's just getting, more comfortable. She jumped a little bit yesterday, and she's like, "Man, I can't jump as high as I used to jump." So all of that's going to be a progression, but we haven't talked about those things specifically.
You can't jump as high as you used
No, I did not.
Oh.
Thanks, guys.